It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's Friday and it's time for our Agile Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. We really appreciate you being here because you're always awesome. So, with that, I wanted to talk today about a life topic. So, 5 life lessons that will help make you a better leader. Now, narrowing this list down to 5 was incredibly difficult, I can tell you right now, because there's so many different life lessons I've had. But I thought about it, and I hope that I came up with what I feel are the best 5. So let's give it a shot. Let's see what we can do. And the best part is you can do these to, obviously these are personal, but you can apply these to your professional work environment as well as to being a leader in your church, a leader in your home. So these are all going to be things that cross over into your personal life. So here we go. So, number 1, perception is projection. I guess what that means is what you perceive is what you'll end up believing. It's in your headspace. So if you're painting the world around you with everything being negative, that's what you're going to have. You'll be smothered in a sheen of cynicism and terrible things and depression. It's like you're trying to twist things into a field of nightmares instead of a field of dreams, right? It's one of those things where if you hear people all the time say, "Oh, if you can focus on it, you can manifest it in your mind, it can become reality." Well, this is the same thing. If you focus on negative things, you're going to quickly enter a Tim Burton torture show, right? So I think when people become fixated on their problems, they really miss all the beautiful things that are happening around them. When people become fixated on negativity, they enter a place of fear. They really become risk averse and they clutch tightly on what they have because they're afraid they're going to lose it and never gain anything more. So, as a leader, it's just important for you to have an ignited positive relationship with yourself and one that carries over to be a positive relationship with the world around you. You need to be courageous. And I think the big thing here, the big message is try hard to always see the good in people. And it's not always easy, right? Because sometimes people just, there's some ugly people out there. But I think that if you take the time to laugh at setbacks, embrace chaos, take risks, just enjoy yourself and enjoy the things that are happening around you and understand that there are going to be ups and downs, but you never know what's going to be good for you. Sometimes those downs are critical lessons that help you really accelerate who you are and help make you a better person. Okay. So let's go on to the second one. So, the second one is sometimes cynicism is a safety blanket. All right. So, I think that we all have had things that we've embraced in our life, whether it was, from a very young age. I know my daughter, she has a little plush, and it's a monkey. And for her, of course, it's monkey. And the last name of the monkey is jumps on bed because the monkey jumps on the bed. But it's one of those things that even though those things may not come into the boardroom of real life with you, as you mature and as you grow through stages, you learn to rely on yourself and you learn to rely on others for comfort. In doing these things, you create genuine bonds that add meaning to your life. And I think sometimes leaders hide behind caution as an excuse to avoid risk. It's better to avoid failure and be thought of and be thought one than to act and confirm you are one. So I'm gonna say that again. It's sometimes it's better to avoid failure and be thought one than to act and confirm you are one. So you need to be careful about how you approach failure. Leadership's about preparing for the worst, but trying to achieve the best. Consider your worst case scenario and make sure you're both active and trying to avoid it and careful not to manifest it because you don't want it to take over your mind. That was number 1, right? Okay, how about number 3? This one was one of my favorite ones. And there are a lot of people out there who I encounter who are change-averse. So number 3 is for all you people who are afraid of change. Someday is today. If you wait for the perfect time to do things, I got news for you. There's never a perfect time. If you keep putting things off until the right moment, you're never going to start. There's always going to be an excuse to wait until tomorrow, or wait until next week, or I don't know if it's a good idea. There's no someday I'll get to it. And this is important that you recognize. If you get to the action as quickly as you can, you'll understand that tomorrow's never promised. And you can't guarantee anything in life but right now. And before you know it, you'll miss your chance and you won't have an opportunity to do things. So if you have things on your plate that are on your bucket list or on your wish list, don't wait to do those things. Figure out how to get in the right headspace and make those things happen. If you feel like maybe I'm not at the right place to do this idea justice, or maybe I'm not ready to pull this through all the way to the finish line, there's nothing stopping you from putting your toe in a pool and figuring out where you need to be. Don't weigh yourself down with a bunch of what ifs. Uh, Unrealized dreams are really a slow death. It really is. It's just, you'll never ever get there. And I think the approach I'm using here is the present is all we're ever going to get. So act accordingly. Take advantage of the present and do the things that you need to do. All right. How about number 4? Number 4 is it's all material. So everything that happens to you is a chance to create something new. We can all learn lessons, apply feedback, make a story, coach others. It all starts with how we treat what happens to us. A lot of bad things are not actually as bad as they seem. Barring huge disasters, there's value in every single experience you have because everything is material. It all serves a greater purpose. The world is full of stories of people who turned hate into fuel, rejection into success, failure into triumph. I always say it's all about your journey. People pay for the story. People want to hear the story. And as a leader, your cup's going to runneth over with trials, tribulations, tests. They call this the iceberg principle, right? Everybody sees success above the water, but they don't realize all the things you had to do to get there. So in every setback, you should ask yourself, what future growth opportunity or glory can come from this? What kernel of positive transformation lies within, and what happened to me? Don't be a diamond that chooses to remain coal. Figure out a way to take that pressure, take advantage of it, and press forward. And then finally, number 5, identify and master your superpower. So the one that I want to talk about is being level-headed, being even-keeled. When everyone around you is blowing a gasket, your ability to focus on solutions and move forward becomes the closest thing you have to a superpower. It's easy to find a reason to quit. As a leader, they're everywhere, and why wouldn't you? There's only one finite amount of hours in a day, and there's only a finite number of days in a life, although we don't know that number. Who'd want to spend all their time being upset, burnt out, failing? But everything you want is on the other side. Few things worth having come without a heavy price. Some type of sacrifice, growth, or focus, you'll need to adapt and change and be willing to pay out first before you get the benefits and reap the reward. I think sometimes in moments of crisis, you need to be the rock. You need to look for solutions, keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps. And even if you need to take a quick break, do it. When you feel like throwing in the towel, ask yourself, is this because I genuinely don't want to do it anymore ever again? Or I just need some me space right now? And you know what will make things even worse is if you're having to overcome your own reaction to it too. Take the time to understand the lesson. Take the time to understand what's happening. Take the time to figure things out. Because I think that if you put it into perspective, there's just no substitute for having a cool head, right? For being even keeled and having a cool head. That's what makes life awesome, and that's what makes you awesome. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. That's going to do it. If you have comments, questions, etc., I encourage you to reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, I encourage you, have the best weekend ever. And we'll talk to you on Monday. Stay healthy, stay well, stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.